Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha television. You're watching the news tonight with me, Frank Rausen Pereira. Here are the headlines. Crime branch investigates alleged leak of CBSE papers. Questions 25 people including 18 students and 5 tutors. Angry students hold protests in Delhi. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar says culprits will not be spared. Government decides to pay entire 12% pension contribution for new staff for the first 3 years of their service. The Union Cabinet decision is expected to create 1 crore new jobs. ISRO successfully launches GSAT-6A communication satellite. Satellites to boost a range of mobile communication applications. Performance of GSLV Mk2 rocket is expected to fetch orders for launch of third-party satellites. North Korea's Kim Jong-un to meet South Korean President Moon Jae-in on April 27th. Summit meeting, the second between leaders of the two nations in 11 years, could lead to a potential meeting between Kim and US President Donald Trump. And the ball tampering scandal claims another victim, Darren Lehman, to step down from the post of Australia's head coach after the 4th and final test against South Africa. In the IPL tournament, Sunrisers Hyderabad named Kane Williamson as captain, replacing David Warner. Well, nearly 2 days after the CBSE's shocking announcement about a re-examination of 2 papers in board exams, its chief said that the decision was taken to protect the interests of the students. CBSE also added that the new dates for the exams will be announced soon. Meanwhile, students in Delhi held a protest demanding re-examination in all papers. Here's more.
Shrill cries of hundreds of student demonstrators echoed in Jantar Mantar in protest against the re-examination of Class 10 Mathematics and Class 12 Economics papers. Holding placards, the students said they had been traumatized after hearing the news of re-examination. Many students claimed almost all the papers were leaked a day before the examinations.
आप गलती मानो ना 28 लाख बच्चे हिंदुस्तान में पेपर दे रहा वो सब तो वापस थोड़ी देंगे अपना पेपर करना है सारे कंडक्ट करो आप सारे पेपर हो तो सारे नहीं तो कोई ना हो.
The crime branch of Delhi police questioned 25 people, including 18 students and 5 tutors, in connection with the alleged leak of the CBSE papers.
ये दोनों पेपर एग्जाम होने के दिन से पहले ये क्लियरली एस्टेब्लिश हो गया. एग्जाम होने के दिन से पहले दिन व्हाट्सएप पर अवेलेबल थे, जो कि अमंग्स द स्टूडेंट्स और कुछ ट्यूटर जो बच्चों की क्लासेस लेते हैं उनके बीच में एक्सचेंज हुआ है. उस चेन को हम लोग एस्टेब्लिश करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar asserted that the culprits will be punished in the case.
16 लाख छात्रों ने जो इम्तिहान दिया उनका पेपर एक कैंसिल होना ये बहुत दुखद घटना है. जिन गुनहगारों ने ये लीक का काम किया है उनको बख्शेंगे नहीं.
The Congress, however, called for the resignation of the HRD minister and said the board chairperson should be sacked.
बात करते हैं एग्जाम वॉरियर्स की और देश के युवाओं के भविष्य पर प्रश्न चिन्ह लगा रहा है एग्जाम माफिया उनकी नाक के नीचे. क्यों सीबीएसई के अध्यक्ष का इस्तीफा मोदी जी नहीं लेते और क्यों इस पूरे मामले में एग्जाम माफिया के ऊपर एक सीबीआई जांच या किसी निष्पक्ष जांच को नहीं बिठाया जाता.
Meanwhile, CBSE has said it will announce the new exam dates by the end of the week for Class 12 Economics and Class 10 Maths papers.
जैसा कि मैंने पहले कहा कि हम बच्चों के फेवर में ही डिसीजन लिया है, हम फेयरनेस के इंटरेस्ट में डिसीजन लिया है और बहुत जल्दी उनको हम डेट बताने वाले हैं और बच्चों के फेवर में ही डिसीजंस होंगे. आप बिल्कुल चिंता न करें.
The board got a tip-off on the 23rd of March, 2 days before the Class 12 Economics and Class 10 Maths papers were leaked. A case was filed on the 27th of March, a day before the exam. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, moving on to other news now, the government on Thursday said it hopes to create 1 crore new jobs by bearing the entire 12% pension contribution for the first 3 years for its new staff. The decision was taken in the cabinet meet chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday. The cabinet also approved several schemes of the Northeastern Council to boost development projects in the region.
The government will now bear the entire 12% of the employer's pension contribution for the first 3 years for new employees. It hopes the decision will create 1 crore more jobs. Addressing a press conference a day after the Union Cabinet approved the decision, Labour Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar said the government will increase budget provision by about 6,500 to 10,000 crore rupees. Currently, the government bears 8.33% employers' contribution towards the employees' pension scheme for new workers under the Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Protsahan Yojana that was implemented in 2016. Till now, the scheme has added about 31 lakh beneficiaries, involving an expenditure of more than 500 crore rupees.
कल ये फैसला लिया गया या पूरा का पूरा 12% केंद्र सरकार वहन करेगी और वास्तव में ये कितना बड़ा कदम है और हमें लगता ही है कि इससे करीब 1 करोड़ नए रोजगार का सृजन होगा जब तक ये योजना हमारी चलेगी.
Besides this, the government also approved several projects for development in the Northeast, including continuation of several existing schemes up to March 2020. For this, the government approved 4,500 crore rupees for 3 years. It has also increased funds for new projects from 90 to 100%, implemented through state and central agencies.
3 hill states and 8 states of Northeast Eastern region. इनको 1910 की फंडिंग का प्रावधान था केंद्र की ओर से. जो केंद्र की योजनाएं और प्रोजेक्ट रहते थे उसमें 90% केंद्र की ओर से 10%. उसको हटा करके अब पूरे का पूरा 100 का 100% केंद्र से राशि उपलब्ध करवाई जाएगी.
Apart from this, the government approved expenditure of 6,600 crore rupees to provide education loans to students from economically weaker sections. The scheme will cover loans for professional and technical courses. 10 lakh students will get loans over the period of 2017-18 to 2019-20 under this scheme. In order to allow more students to access the benefits, the loan ceiling has been fixed at 7.5 lakh rupees. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the centre will file a review petition before the Supreme Court next week, challenging its order banning automatic arrest and registration of cases for alleged harassment of SCs and STs. Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the centre has taken note of the Supreme Court judgment about laying down new norms about the SC/ST Act. The Apex Court had recently banned automatic arrests and registration of criminal cases under the Scheduled Castes and the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989. The law protects the marginalized communities against discrimination and atrocities. A delegation of NDA's SC and ST MPs led by LJP Chief Ram Vilas Paswan and Union Social Justice Minister Thawar Chand Gehlot had met Prime Minister Modi to discuss the Apex Court judgment diluting provisions of the SC/ST Atrocities Act.
हमने माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट के एक निर्णय को नोट किया है जिसमें SC/ST एक्ट के ऑपरेशंस के बारे में कई नए निर्देश दिए गए हैं. हम इस संबंध में जो देश में चिंता है उसके संवेदनशीलता को समझते हैं और मैंने अपने लॉ विभाग को निर्देश दिया है कि इसके पूरे मामले की परख करते हुए रिव्यू फाइल करने की तैयारी करें.
Well, the Personnel Ministry today announced new guidelines under which government officers facing criminal or corruption charges will be denied vigilance clearance for passports. Authorities can, however, consider a different view on cases where officers need to go on foreign travel due to an extreme urgent situation like medical emergencies. According to the guidelines, vigilance clearance shall not be withheld due to an FIR filed on the basis of a private complaint unless a charge sheet has been filed by the investigating agency. However, the information regarding FIR may be provided to the passport office and the final decision on the matter will be taken by the concerned passport issuing authority. In case of civil services officers, a passport will not be granted if a disciplinary proceeding is pending against the officer. Well, ISRO on Thursday successfully launched GSAT-6A in its GSAT communication satellite series. The launch makes it India's second predominantly S-band communication satellite that will complement GSAT-6 that's been orbiting the Earth since August 2015.
At exactly 4:56 p.m., the GSLV F-08 took off from Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, carrying the GSAT-6A communication satellite that was put into orbit 17 minutes after the liftoff. The satellite will provide mobile communication for the country through multi-beam coverage facility.
GSLV के 11 लॉन्चेस हुए हैं, जिसमें से करीब 6 सक्सेसफुल हुए हैं, लेकिन पिछले 4 जो लॉन्चेस हैं वो हमेशा सक्सेसफुल हुए हैं, और ये लॉन्च सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है तो हमारे एक्सपीरियंस में एक चीज़ ऐड हो जाएगी, और क्योंकि जितने ज़्यादा लॉन्चेस हम लोग सक्सेसफुली करते जाएंगे वो टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर हमारा उतना ही कंट्रोल आता जाएगा, जो PSLV जिसका एक एग्जांपल है। तो ये क्रायोजेनिक इंजन अपने आप में अगर आज भी हो जाता है तो एक अलग से एक हमारे लिए अचीवमेंट होगी।
According to ISRO, the lifespan of GSAT-6A mission will be around 10 years and the cost of the 2-ton satellite is approximately 270 crore rupees. The GSAT-6A will have a 6-meter diameter, unfurlable antenna for the user communication link. It also has a 0.8-meter fixed antenna for hub communication link that will help in handheld ground terminals and network management techniques. With the launch of GSAT-6 mission, ISRO has proved that it has enhanced the performance of the GSLV rocket and the cryogenic engine. This will also boost ISRO scientists' confidence for its upcoming project of Chandrayaan-2. Aruna Thakur, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, amid the ongoing talks to form a third front, the CPM has delayed its decision of joining the front. CPM might decide on the matter in their upcoming party conclave, which will start from the 18th of April in Hyderabad.
हमारी पार्टी कांग्रेस है अप्रैल महीने में 18 से 22 अप्रैल तक हैदराबाद में, और उस पार्टी कांग्रेस से पहले हमें दस्तावेज तैयार करना पड़ता है, मसौदा तैयार करना पड़ता है, और हर राज्य में जो स्टेट कॉन्फ्रेंस में है उसकी रिपोर्टिंग लेनी पड़ती है, तो हम ये मीटिंग में वहाँ बात करेंगे।
Well, the Reserve Bank imposed a penalty of 58.9 crore rupees on ICICI Bank for violating its directions on direct sale of securities. The RBI said that ICICI had failed to adhere to rules on sale of bonds in the held to maturity or HTM category. RBI norms require the bank to disclose the market value of the HTM investments and specify the difference between book value and market value if sale of HTM securities exceeds 5% of overall HTM investments. ICICI Bank, however, said that the violation was due to a genuine misunderstanding on the timing of the applicability of RBI's directions in the matter. Imposing the penalty, RBI said it was being done after taking into account failure of the bank to adhere to the directions issued by the central banker. It's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to Security Scan. I am Vishal Dahiya, and this week we will discuss the issue of challenges along our land borders and the steps taken to tackle those challenges.
We should strengthen the state police forces who have a firmer grip on the ground situation.
You require electromagnetic fencing above all these rivers.
How significantly are we using technology?
We are going with high technology and we have launched a project which is called the Comprehensive Integrated Border Management System.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. promoting public discourse. Events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, the Enforcement Directorate on Thursday attached assets worth 2,300 crore rupees, including 24 hotels and resorts, in connection with its money laundering probe into the Rose Valley Ponzi scam case. The agency issued a provisional order under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, attaching 11 resorts, 9 hotels and few other facilities. The single largest attachment of properties order includes a 200-acre plot and 414 land parcels spread across West Bengal. With the latest action, the value of assets seized in this case stands at about 4,200 crore rupees. The ED had registered an FIR against the firm, its chairman Gautam Kundu and others in 2014 under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Kundu was arrested by the agency in Kolkata in 2015. The group had allegedly floated the scheme promising inflated returns on investments between 8 and 27% to gullible investors in various states. Well, the government has invited bids to divest 76% stake in Air India through transfer of management and sale of equity. Air India's prospective buyer will have to take at least 70% of the beleaguered carrier's debt. The government intends to complete the sale by the end of 2018. Experts say the privatization of Air India will infuse efficiency in operations of the carrier. Here's a report.
After dragging on for a long time, the sale of Air India is finally finding wings. The government is seeking an expression of interest for a 76% stake in Air India. Also offered for sale is a 100% owned subsidiary and low-cost arm, Air India Express, besides a 50% equity that Air India holds in AISATS, a ground handling joint venture with Singapore Airport Terminal Services. Analysts say that privatization of Air India will rationalize spending, funding and capital infusion while imparting the much-needed momentum for the Indian aviation industry.
Air India Express is being disinvested, Air India itself is being disinvested, but the hotel corporation, that will be a SPV which they are doing separately. And they have also, the government has taken a very wise move, but that your debt liability is only 24,800 crores, which is your loan on those aircraft. So whichever company comes in, it has aircraft available. All it has to do is pay back those loans.
Bidders will need a minimum net worth of 5,000 crore rupees. Indian carriers with negative net worth can bid for the Maharaja if they tie up with someone that can take the combined net worth to the required amount. This will pave way for Indian carriers to tie up with a strong international player. Foreign airlines can pick up 49% equity in the airline, provided the chairman and at least 2/3 of directors are Indians and effective control vests with Indian nationals. Companies including low-cost Indian carrier Indigo, owned by Interglobe Aviation, Tata Group and Turkey's Celebi Aviation Holdings have expressed interest in buying some of Air India's operations. Singapore Airlines has also said the company has an open mind about making an initial bid.
Anyone will be willing to take this on. It's a great brand name, Maharaja. Secondly, it's a very little known fact that we occupy some of the most high price spaces at international airports.
Air India currently has 115 aircraft in its fleet. It connects 54 domestic destinations, comprising 2,330 weekly departures and 39 international destinations. The national carrier is staying afloat on taxpayers' money under the bailout package approved by the previous UPA government in 2012. Air India has a total debt of 52,000 crore rupees to its name, out of which 33,000 crore is due to working capital loans. By the mid-80s, governments in most of the advanced countries exited the airline business. However, in India, successive governments failed to get the state-owned carrier out of the debt muddle or sell it to the private players. Air India's stake sale is seen as one of the major reforms by the Modi government. The government has also assured that the interest of the employees will be safeguarded. Reporting from Delhi, with camera person Suresh, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Thursday said no country can make progress without strong scientific foundations. Addressing Earth scientists at NGRI in Hyderabad, Naidu said we need to have a state-of-the-art R&D base to cater to both the academia and the industry, stating that climate change, global warming and clean energy have become major challenges for mankind. The Vice President urged Earth scientists to work towards sustainable goals, meet societal needs and facilitate nation building. Noting that Indian researchers contribute about 5% of papers in earth sciences published worldwide, he encouraged the scientists to increase the number of patents and research publications in international journals. Well, moving on to some international news now, where India and Japan will jointly work together for the peace in the Indo-Pacific region. While India is expected to ensure ease of doing business for Japan, both will work on joint strategy to curb terrorist funding. Decisions to this effect were taken in the India-Japan Strategic Dialogue in Tokyo on Thursday.
Jointly chaired by External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and Japanese Foreign Minister Taro Kono, the India-Japan Strategic Dialogue has decided to strengthen India-Japan-Australia-USA Quad.
हमारे बीच विशिष्ट रणनीतिक और वैश्विक साझेदारी वर्तमान वैश्विक परिप्रेक्ष्य में बहुत ही महत्व रखती है। आर्थिक और रणनीतिक मामलों पर हमारे बीच एकजुटता भारत प्रशांत क्षेत्र में शांति, स्थायित्व India is the most important partner in realizing free and open Indo-Pacific. Strong Japan-India relations will be an international public good in supporting order.
Sushma Swaraj also invited Japan to take part in India's flagship programs while facilitating Indian businesses in Japan. Japan has promised assistance on a new metro line in Mumbai, a desalination plant and transport system in Chennai, ecosystem and forest management in Himachal Pradesh and connectivity projects in the northeastern states.
भारत के आर्थिक आधुनिकीकरण में जापान की लगातार भागीदारी के दृष्टिगत दोनों पक्षों ने आज जापान विदेश विकास सहायता के अंतर्गत हिमाचल प्रदेश, तमिलनाडु और महाराष्ट्र में नई विकास परियोजनाओं के संबंध में भी आदान प्रदान किया।
Swaraj also met members of the Indian community in Tokyo and a major think tank of Japan. Her summit was in preparation for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Japan later this year. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Leaders of North and South Korea will hold their first summit in over a decade on the 27th of April. Talks between the North's Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in will be held in the border village of Panmunjom. The date was announced after officials from the two sides met to prepare for the summit. It comes after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un pledged his commitment to denuclearization of his recent visit, to Beijing, as tensions ease between the old foes. The summit agenda would likely address denuclearization of the Korean peninsula and improvement of inter-Korean relations. Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has welcomed North Korea's commitment to denuclearization. It will only be the third time leaders of the two countries have met since an armistice was signed to conclude the Korean War in 1953.
남은 수뇌분들의 뜻에 따라 북남 수뇌 상봉과 회담을 2018년 4월 27일 판문점 남측 지역 평화의 집에서 가지기로 하였다.
Well, the Indian women's team beat England by 8 wickets in the Women's T20 Tri-Series in Mumbai. The Indian women chased the 108-run target with 26 balls to spare. Smriti Mandhana top-scored with an unbeaten knock of 62 runs, while skipper Harmanpreet Kaur scored an unbeaten 20 to steer the Indian side to victory. Batting first, the English Eves were all out for 107 runs. Anuja Patil was the pick of the bowlers as she took 3 wickets. India have already been knocked out of the tournament after losing their first 3 matches. The final will be played between Australia and England on Saturday. Well, Darren Lehmann announced that he will step down from the post of Australia's head coach after the 4th and final test against South Africa. Lehmann's contract was to run until the end of 2019 Ashes series in England. While in the IPL, Kane Williamson will replace David Warner as the captain of the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Meanwhile, Steve Smith took full responsibility for the ball tampering scandal in South Africa. Smith said that he is gutted and will regret, the incident for his entire life. Smith, who was banned for a year and stripped of captaincy by Cricket Australia, broke down with tears during a press conference in South Africa.
So I'd like to apologise to the Australian public and the cricket family. What happened on Saturday is not something that is acceptable, especially from the Australian cricket team. As been made clear by James yesterday and today, the coaches and support staff had no prior knowledge of the incident. He has covered a lot of already what is said between myself and the players during the match.
I'm sorry. What happened in Cape Town has already been laid out by Cricket Australia. Tonight, I want to make clear that as captain of the Australian cricket team, I take full responsibility. I made a serious error of judgment, and I now understand the consequences.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of the newscast. Good night.